Hello everyone, I, Ria Ahuja from Economic Times, welcome you all to yet another webinar on building next-gen enterprise networks on SD WAN. Enterprises have been using MPLS-based WAN to support their business applications and bandwidth requirements. As the number of applications is increasing, workloads are moving more on the cloud. Hence, it is imperative for WAN to be much more intelligent and automated to support new workways. The webinar today will look at the advantages of SD-WAN technology and how it provides the required agility and security to support new age requirements. We will further discuss the existing challenges of WAN connectivity and what makes the SD-WAN a good proposition. For this webinar today, we have with us Jitender Ahuja. A very warm welcome, sir.
Hi.
Mr. Ahuja is the head of global pre-sales at Bharti Airtel. With over 25 years of experience in network design and operations, he is a well-rounded ICT professional with experience in technology domains like intelligent connectivity, cybersecurity, unified communication collaboration, and system integration. I now request Mr. Ahuja to please take this forward.
Thank you, Neha. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. So today this webinar is about SD-WAN. And today we are going to discuss in context of recent business trends, how SD-WAN is relevant, how it works, components of SD-WAN, its benefit for you, and then most important, in the later part of the presentation, we are going to talk about consideration parameter that will help you decide first the SD-WAN, whether it is for you or not. If it is for you, then how to choose the right SD-WAN platform and service provider. So let's get started. Yeah. So as I discussed, we'll go through the complete cycle in terms of introduction to SD-WAN, components, adoption path, and consideration set for SD-WAN, feature benefit, and then we'll talk about how Airtel can help us, and then just concluding remarks. Let's get started. So what's the business trend today? Today businesses are much more competitive. They require faster go-to-market, better customer experience, and still should be operating at lower cost. All this is pushing to process automation and digitization, which in turn means huge data from machines, from business apps, from social media, and online self-service platforms. Yeah. So network adaptability is key to support this real-time data exchange, correlation, and business decision making. The other trend important that all of us would be aware is about cloud adoption, and with reasons very well known to us all, like flexibility, scalability, getting the best of domain expertise, because when you are in cloud, you get the best of expertise, of the shared expertise that is available on cloud. Yeah? And no surprise, by the estimate, cloud is expected to grow from 2.6 billion USD in 2018 to 8 billion USD at a CAGR of 25%. Yeah, and that's something that we're talking about India specific. Yeah. So this growth is definitely exponential, and cloud definitely has a lot of benefit that it has to offer. But at the same time, these market trends, digitization, automation, cloud adoption, what it means for the network. Network also need to transform. All this means is network should be accessible from anytime, anywhere. It should be able to support real-time data exchange, should have resiliency built in to ensure always available, should support hybrid cloud, because not that all the organization will move all of a sudden from their own DC to cloud. It will be hybrid for some time. Few of the workload will be internal DC, few applications will move to public cloud. So it should be able to support hybrid cloud. It should be intelligent able to prioritize few business application versus others. It should be fully secure, because when you're talking about cloud, security comes first. Yeah, all this coming at lower total cost of ownership. Yeah. So when we're talking about this, what are the current WAN challenges? What are the challenges with the existing networks? One is that it is not application aware. It is network aware, but not application aware. Because it does not have application visibility, it is not able to take business decisions which are application based. It also needs to have separate devices for separate functions. For security, you need to put separate firewall, separate IDS, separate IPS, and separate implementation that you need to do, whether it's for WAN optimization, router, they are all different boxes today. And managing these different boxes is a challenge. And of course, bandwidth utilization is not optimal. We'll talk about why it is not optimal in more details in coming slides. And then when we're talking about small scale network, it is fine. When we're talking about large scale network, which is expanding, need to have provisioning, which is much more aligned to business requirement. In current network, that traditional network that we have, provisioning, change management is side by side, and it is very much manual. Yeah. So what is the solution? What we're talking about, how the SD-WAN will help? Yeah. So SD-WAN is different from traditional WAN. Traditional WAN, you have multiple devices for routing, security, WAN op, wherein in SD-WAN is just single device, delivering routing, WAN op, as well as security. In traditional WAN, it is about manual configuration, manual provisioning, manual change management, side by side. It is time consuming and error prone. When in SD-WAN, it is about zero touch provisioning and very easy change management. A click of mouse, you can make the changes in thousands of network, CP, edge devices. Yeah. The other big part is about utilization, effective utilization of the links. Now, there may be multiple links that may be terminating on a particular site, but in traditional WAN, you are not effectively able to utilize it. Generally, it is in active backup mode, or even if it is in active mode, the configuration is very much manual. You have to manually decide which application will take which path. Any changes in that policy has to be again changed manually. Where in SD-WAN, it is very, very effective utilization of bandwidth. Both the links can be active. You can define how your different application will get routed. So it has that application visibility, and because of that, you are able to control multiple things. So this was very broad level that we are talking about what SD-WAN, is all about. Now let's get into more detail on SD-WAN. What the components? It's very, very important that we understand the components of SD-WAN, how it is different from traditional WAN, from the very core of the implementation SD-WAN versus traditional WAN. Yeah. So SD-WAN prime difference is that control and data plane are separated. Traditional WAN, you have same CP, same edge, which is doing the function of data as well as control functions. Wherein in SD-WAN, these are separated. So we'll talk about which are the three components. So primarily three components are control plane, data plane, and management plane. In SD-WAN, data and control plane are separate. Yeah. So what is the control plane? Let's talk about one by one. So control plane is the brain of SD-WAN. This is what it is controlling the complete SD-WAN architecture, how the data flow will happen, how the policy will get applied. It has the complete information of IP routing. It allocates the IP addressing, encryption keys to various CPs. Any policy update, configuration update that needs to be pushed to CP, get pushed through this control plane. So very, very important. It is the control plane which influences the complete routing across SD-WAN. Any policy changes, push of that happens from this control plane. So when you're talking about control plane, there is an additional component. Just to be clear in this, I'm not going to talk about any specific OEM implementation. OEM implementation may differ from SD-WAN, one SD-WAN to other SD-WAN. I'm talking about generalized component, general component of SD-WAN. Like say few of the OEMs might have additional layer, which is orchestration layer. And the function of that is to facilitate zero-touch provisioning, where any new provisioning, any new device first get connected to this orchestrator, and then it routes it to different control plane controllers, and that's where all the policies get pushed, all the configuration get pushed. Yeah. But few of the implementation, it may just part of control plane itself. Yeah. So let's move to the next plane, which is data plane. Data plane is where actual implementation happens with respect to data communication. The data traffic communication between CPE happens. It also captures, the statistics, all the statistic that is that about the data communication, utilization, any network parameter, performance parameters, it is getting captured in this data plane itself. And that's what it shared ultimately with the management plane. Yeah. So now the configuration, once it is pushed to the edge devices, the communication at data plane is happening either directly between site A to site B, or in few of the SD WAN implementation from the OEM perspective, I'm saying few of the OEM actually put another layer, which is a gateway layer, where the communication from site A to site B doesn't happen directly. It generally happens through gateway, even though they also have the option wherein site to site communication can be configured, but generally the configuration is through gateway, and both the methodology without gateway, with gateway, has pros and cons. Yeah. So let's move to the next one, which is the implementation plane. So implementation plane is about is about management plane. So management plane is all about collecting all the management information. It is a single UI user interface, both for engineers who are working on SD-WAN's central plane, as well as for customers to log in, get their basic reporting data, and so on and so forth. So management plane is also something which is collecting all the information from your data plane, from the edge devices. And it acts as an interface if you have to take the reporting outside the SD-WAN to some third-party reporting tools. Might be your reporting requirements may be very, very different. You might like to take that data to different third-party tool and have the reporting requirement address from that tool. Yeah. So management plane is the interface where you can get all the data related to SD-WAN, all the stats, all the events, and so on. Yeah. So let's move to the next one, where we are talking about. So these are the components. Just to re-emphasize, recapture, the three critical components of SD-WAN are control plane, data plane, management plane, and few of the implementation on the OEM side might have gateway plane, might have also orchestrator in between to facilitate zero-touch provisioning. Yeah. In addition to that, almost everyone will have a security layer on and above this. Now the security layer, the implementation again is different, from OEM to OEM, and the capability, the feature set, especially on the security side, are very, very different. Yeah. Few of them might have the security layer at peripheral level. Few of the OEM implementation might also support, access level or defining going on to particular department-wise policy or user level policy and security controls. Yeah. So again, so these are few things that might be different, but largely, it is divided into control, data plane, and management plane. So having known about all this plane and SD-WAN, that the way it is, how it helps, because the data plane and control plane are separate, and the kind of things that are there, what are the main features that we're talking about SD-WAN. So SD-WAN is, key feature is that because the data plane and control plane are separate, the application awareness is there in the SD-WAN. So it is application aware, it supports multiple connectivity. It can be MPLS, it can be internet, it can be DSL, it can be LTE, it can be 4G. It supports various different connectivity modes. Provisioning is automated. Need not to go to the site to do the configuration or change management. Once you have plugged it, automatically configuration will get downloaded. Any change management again can be pushed through central control plane, 2000 row devices. The other is that, of course, it has that security control. You can, one device has features like say firewall or IDS, IPS. It has URL filtering as basic feature, and few of the additional components might be there, like say DNS-based security, anti-malware, may be there from OEM to OEM. Of course, it has centralized management for any kind of policy management or change management. Central plane is there. The other is that, of course, it is cloud first. It supports local internet breakout for accessing the cloud application. Yeah. So it is definitely cloud first. All the implementation will support the cloud adoption. It has the dynamic path control, wherein multiple connectivity modes may be there. You can define it basis the application, basis the business priority on different applications you might have. So what it all means? What are the features means for you? So SD-WAN feature means for you in terms of improved performance, improved agility, better network availability, main thing, faster go-to-market. When saying faster go-to-market, how it helps, like say if you're rolling out new sites, need not to wait for engineers to come there for a couple of weeks, do the configuration, some issue is there, he will change the configuration again. It may take few weeks. Where in case of SD-WAN, it's plug and play. Just ship the device, they'll plug it to LAN, it'll come over internet, and get through all the policies, configuration from control plane, and it is ready to go. So it's definitely faster GTM, and we're saying faster GTM along with that zero touch provisioning, because the very nature that supports 4G also, LTE also. So even if your connection, like say MPLS connection may be taking some time, you can start your new location, maybe with LTE for a few days, till the time the MPLS, or ILL is getting implemented. So definitely it helps in faster go-to-market. And ultimately with all this, it supports the optimized TCO, total cost of ownership. All this is about better user experience, giving the control in your hand about your network, the way that you want to run it, the way that you want to optimize it, the way that you want to prioritize between various applications. Now we are reaching the most important slide of this webinar. And it is about what's the journey to your SD-WAN. You would have known about SD-WAN, even though I've covered, but most of you anyway would be aware. But main thing is that what's the journey on to SD-WAN? How you adopt SD-WAN? What are the consideration that you should consider? Yeah. First, of course, it is about getting to understand the SD-WAN. As next step, most important is about mapping your business requirement and roadmap to see if it matches what SD-WAN has to offer, which SD-WAN is best for your needs, so on and so forth. Few of the parameters worth considering are your cloud adoption. Where you are in terms of cloud adoption. Have you moved already to cloud? You have started movement to cloud, or maybe you don't have any plans to move to cloud. But you definitely must consider this factor before when you are deciding about SD-WAN journey. This is the most important thing. The other is how many applications that you have. Are these applications are like say 10 applications that you are running, various applications, or they are just 3 applications that you might be running. So what are the number of applications are important. If it's only one application, your decision may be very different. If there are multiple applications, and that also, what kind of applications? Are there only data, or they are data as well as voice as well as video? That will also decide on your SD-WAN adoption. The other is that what is your availability requirement? When I'm saying availability requirement, are you running online processes? Are you running online applications? Or it is just file transfer, or maybe HRMS application which occasionally is required to be used, or even if it is daily required to be used, it is not that critical that your business is coming down if they are not available for a few minutes. If it's FTP, of course it's important. but you don't require it online. Wherein if you are running few applications which are online and your business outcome or your customer experience is depend on that, then definitely you must consider adoption to SD-WAN. Other is very important factor is about network refresh timeline. Have you just implemented your WAN network? You have just putting your network in place. You have just bought, your routers, CP routers, network gear, maybe a year back, and you have made a heavy investment. You want to change to SD-WAN right now, or you will wait for some time to move to SD-WAN. So these are the few consideration, which are there on the slide on the left hand side. These are the few consideration you must consider first to decide whether you want to go for SD-WAN or not. That's the first step, whether SD-WAN is for you or not. If the answer is yes, out of this you think that yes, largely you are moving into cloud, you have a number of applications are voice, video heavy, availability requirements are high, you can't afford downtime because you are running online applications, and it's the right time for you to refresh your network, and you decide so that you want to move to SD-WAN, then next step is what is the right SD-WAN for me? And for that, few of the consideration are application requirement. What is your application requirement? What latency are acceptable to your applications? What is switch out time? Most important, is acceptable to your applications. If you are running, for example, voice, mind you that not the all SD-WAN OEMs implementation guarantee that whenever switchover is there from one connection to other, voice will not break. Mind you on that. See, this is very, very important if you are running video and voice application, because the switch out time may be it may not be in millisecond. It may take much higher than that, and session may break. Now, you need to study that whether the SD-WAN that you are going to adopt supports negligible switchover, and the voice session, video session will not break. There will not be any jitter in video when you are running video. Very important. And very important from the SD-WAN perspective. In traditional network, of course, it was important, but in SD-WAN, because what you are doing in SD-WAN, you are defining a parameter, and switchover will happen automatically, maybe without your knowledge. Maybe it will switch over maybe 3 times in a day, depending upon what kind of network performance is there on different links. Now, very, very important that you keep this factor in mind. And specifically when you are running, the applications which are sensitive, you must also consider a few of the other parameters, like say FEC, forward error correction, packet duplication, whether your SD-WAN OEM supports these parameters or not. Very important. The other important aspect is about routing, reporting and analytic requirements. Every SD-WAN has some inbuilt reports. You need to look at that and decide whether they are good for you, or you may like to use some add-on analytic layer, either from the same OEM or third party, to address your specific reporting and analytic requirement. Again, very important, because you are in the process of moving to automation as far as the WAN networks are concerned. When you are doing that, this reporting analytic requirement becomes quite important. Yeah. Third important thing is about your security requirements. What do you want to achieve when you're talking about security? Is it just about perimeter security, which can be addressed by firewall, IDS, IPS, or it is about URL filtering, or you want to have department-wise or user-wise control, like what they want, what they should access on internet, what is resources that you want to allocate department-wise or user-wise. If you are going to that deep, definitely you need to you need to see how your SD-WAN platform is going to support all these requirements. The other important point is about your approach, whether you want to go greenfield or brownfield. Yeah. The other is about, of course, cost consideration. How much budget that you have, how much you want to spend. So all these parameters, and especially I'm talking about on the right hand side of this slide, they are important. Once you have decided on SD-WAN that you want to go on SD-WAN, deciding which is the right SD-WAN platform, which is the right SD-WAN service provider. Next slide, which is related to, again, your journey to SD-WAN on your decision factor, whether you want to go into managed services or do it yourself. Yeah. When I'm saying DIY, which is about putting up the complete infrastructure, controller, your orchestrator layer, your gateway layer, everything at your own premises. The other is taking help of service provider, will offer it as services to you. They will put in their cloud and offer it as service to you. And of course, pros and cons are there. Of course, when you are moving on to managed services model, you get the benefit of domain expertise, protection from technology obsolescence, because they'll keep on doing the patch management and whatsoever required. Lower cost, flexible commercial model, yeah, wherein when you're going for do it yourself, on the captive model, you get the benefit that all the infrastructure will be hosted at your premises. But of course, it comes with additional workload in terms of its management, and the expertise that required to maintain it. So these are all the factors that you must consider in deciding your decision with respect to SD-WAN, your platform, service provider, which model that you want to adopt, in your SD-WAN journey. Yeah. So moving next. So Airtel, definitely we are there to support you in whichever model that you want to take, whether SD-WAN, no SD-WAN, managed services, do it yourself. Airtel is there to support you. We have our own managed services on SD-WAN, which we have implemented. So the SD-WAN central plane, which is about controller, which is about analytic, which is about your management plane, all those are implemented at Airtel Cloud, and you can take the benefit to faster rollout of as your SD-WAN network and migration from traditional WAN to SD-WAN. So few benefits, going with Airtel is one-stop solution, wherein Airtel definitely is providing connectivity media also, which is MPLS, internet, DSL, LTE. Is something that will Airtel has the benefit that Airtel is providing all this connectivity media of their own as well as through partners also. The other is that partnership with the leading SD-WAN OEMs that we have. Again, as I told in start of the presentation, I'm not going to talk about any specific OEM. We have partnerships with multiple OEMs, and I'll not talk about any pros and cons of OEM basis, but yes, we have partnership both in multiple OEMs, both in managed service model as well as in do it yourself model. The most important part when we're talking about Airtel, especially on the managed service side, we have the expert resources to manage your migration, deployment, and O&M. We have the management. We will also do the management of your entire life cycle on the SD-WAN side, whether it's planning, deployment, on-ground support, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So before we end, I'll just spend a couple of minutes more on case study that we have from one of the leading manufacturing company. Wherein we have customer need was with respect to they wanted to have they had the network. They wanted to increase their bandwidth, and the reason was, and the increase in bandwidth was primarily on internet. Reason was they are moving on cloud, and they wanted to make sure that enough bandwidth is available to support their cloud migration. They also, wanted to make sure that as they are moving on cloud, and of course they had multiple applications. They need to make sure that they are able to prioritize between their different applications, and of course the latency to the cloud should be minimal. Yeah, we should provide the direct connection to cloud. Internet breakout, when you're talking about cloud, of course it is there, it should come with security. As they were expanding, they wanted to have easy provisioning and change management. So these are a few requirements that they have. Yeah. A solution that was provided was that we have provided them connectivity layer on MPLS, ILL, and few of the location we have provided 4G also as a backup. We have also provided the links in active mode. Fallback, of course, was there between internet, MPLS, and vice versa. And if nothing is available for few of the sites where the 4G was there, LTE was there, it would fall back onto that tertiary link. Implementation was also providing them secure internet access. We have implemented them with the additional license on the security side, wherein they were able to have the parallel functionality within their edge devices. Yeah. So all it resulted in their increased efficiency, uptime, their total cost of ownership came down. When I'm saying total cost of ownership includes all the management cost in managing network, change management, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and of course, their reporting, analytic, the kind of visibility that they were getting in this new solution was far way ahead on what they were there before their SD WAN implementation. Before we move to Q&A, just one last slide on conclusion. And this conclusion is about SD WAN. Of course, SD WAN is better, with respect to better user experience, application performance, visibility, your overall network management. But at the same time, the degree of benefit may differ depending upon your current setup, environment, concerns that you have, how your cloud adoption, and the other parameter that we have discussed. Depending upon all these, your environment parameter that we have discussed during this webinar, I must say that SD WAN is not for everyone. Don't be shy away, in terms of that. Maybe your other colleagues might be moving to SD WAN, but if you have only few applications, all the hosting is there in DC. Maybe you are good with your traditional MPLS. Yeah. Once you decide on to move to SD WAN, choose your right SD WAN solution depending upon your requirement, what kind of connections that you have, how many number of connectivity layers that you have. That is only MPLS, 2 MPLS, 2 internet. So depending upon that, you need to choose the right solution. Depending upon what the feature set that SD WAN platform has to offer, and all that. The other is that to choose, once you choose the right SD WAN platform, choose the right SD WAN service provider. We should be able to match with your needs and your technology roadmap and business requirement that you have, or concerns that you have in hand. Yeah. So that's it. All from my side. Open for Q&A now. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ahuja, for such an insightful session. We are giving our attendees 40 seconds to drop in their questions. I request all of you to please drop in the questions in the box given below. Mr. Ahuja, we are starting off with the first question. It seems like a lengthy question, so please be, all yours here. Question 1 reads, the attendee says he is from a mid-segment manufacturing industry with DC, DR and 10 sites. There are 4 applications running on single MPLS connecting to DC where all applications are hosted.
Okay.
Applications are wherein file upload periodically, SAP access or HRMS access, internal breakout is central at DC at DR only. What would be your suggestion for him to move into SD WAN?
See, considering what I heard is that this is a mid-segment M&D and applications are limited. I heard that there are 4 applications, and primarily we're talking about FTP and HRMS, right? So, frankly speaking, if everything is within DC, there are 4 applications which are not online, which are offline, mostly FTP or non-critical, like say, HRMS. I think they should rethink if they are, with respect to SD-WAN. I think they are good at their existing network. If they are running on MPLS network, they are good at it. Because mind you that, nowhere we are saying that yes, internet with security is a replacement of MPLS. No, it is not a replacement. Of course, MPLS performance is still the best, vis-a-vis internet or DSL. So if you are running with a few applications, all the applications are in-house, just stay with your SD-WAN. Stay with your MPLS. Need not to move to SD-WAN. Yeah, I hope it answers. Any other question?
Sure, sir. The other question is, does SD-WAN offers DSL connectivity option and how it can be covered as part of overall managed services contract?
I must say that's very good question because I had not covered part of uh, presentation, but very important question. See, DSL of course is a cost-effective media, and I was saying that Airtel of course can provide DSL as a connectivity option as part of our overall SD-WAN solution. Uh, but if it is non-Airtel, I'm talking about Airtel, and that can be true for any other service provider or telco for that matter. Then see, internet reselling is not allowed in India, yeah, including DSL. So we can't resell DSL, yeah. So that is true for anyone, be it any telco, be it system integrator. Nobody can resell internet or DSL. So what you will end up is that you will have to have separate local contract with the local ISP for DSL if you choose to go for DSL. Yeah. So my suggestion is that DSL, yes, you should keep as the option, but not as your primary mode of connectivity. It should be that wherever, if DSL is feasible, DSL can be taken, or it may be 4G LTE as the alternate option if you're talking about low cost option. But I will not suggest when you're talking about going for SD-WAN, managed services kind of network, or even if it is captive, to go for DSL if you have, like say, 100 of sites. Imagine that if you are 100 of sites, you need to have a 70 or 80 different contact with the different local ISP. It may be difficult to manage. So my suggestion will be consider it as one of the option wherever feasible, provided by the telco who is providing you the SD-WAN, like say Airtel. If you are providing, if it's on Airtel DSL, yes, it is one of the option definitely worth considering. But if you have to yourself do the contract with the local ISP, I'll not suggest that. Yeah, but again, yeah, DSL you can keep as a low cost option, but again, you have to keep in mind that what kind of application that you will opt for DSL. It has to be non-business critical. I'll suggest that business critical application you should still keep on MPLS or ILL, not on DSL, because DSL at the end of the day is still shared internet connection.
Sure,
Yeah,
sir.
so I
The next question reads out.
hope it answers. Yeah.
Sure, it does. The next question reads out, as you mentioned, SD-WAN can replace MPLS for short period of time, but the attendee wants to know about VoIP or PBX over SD-WAN. Does it support same voice quality?
Yeah, answer is yes, but not for all the SD-WAN implementations. As I was saying that, in your journey to SD-WAN, that you must consider when I'm talking about VoIP, it will support, but you definitely must test it out because whenever the connection is switching, there will be addition delay. So, but otherwise, if short answer is yes, but definitely you should test it out with the specific OEM that you are going to select.
Sure, sir. We are taking now the last question. It reads out, what is the typical time frame for moving to SD-WAN?
See, typical time frame moving to SD-WAN depends where you are, which stage you are there in today. You know, if you are talking and the kind of network that is there, if it is 10 site network or it is a 100 site, 1000 site network, it depends on that. So, are you ready from your perspective to move to SD-WAN? If assuming that from your side you are ready to move to SD-WAN, it will differ if you are going for managed services, which is going for do-it-yourself or captive setup. If you are going for managed services, the major time-consuming component which are there on the central plane, which is control, plane, management plane, all that is already implemented by service provider. It is only about then the CP, and typically time frame that we are talking about, I'm saying it will be around say 6 weeks, but depends upon 6 to 8 weeks, depending upon number of locations that you have. But you're talking about like say any mid segment which has 20-30 sites, it may be 4 to 6 weeks.
Sure. Mr. Ahuja, since we have a little time left, I think we can take a few more questions.
Sure, please go ahead.
Sure. The next question reads out, can we restrict SD-WAN management access with IP address?
Definitely you can. You can definitely restrict SD-WAN management portal access either based on, so it is all controlled there with you, what kind of access to whom that you want to give, or through basis IP addresses also that you can restrict. Definitely, answer is yes, you can.
Sure. The next question is, can DSL with security feature be considered as cost-effective replacement for MPLS?
The answer is absolutely not. Why I'm saying that, see, SD-WAN is an additional layer. Don't consider it as replacement of MPLS. I think because SD-WAN is providing you additional features, faster rollout, faster GTM, easy management, easy control, visibility on the application. That's what the SD-WAN layer is all about. But underlying connectivity layer, which is MPLS or internet, will still stay. You will have variety of applications. You may choose that you are running 2 MPLS. With SD-WAN, the benefit that will offer you that you may choose that instead of 2 MPLS, you will keep 1 MPLS and 1 internet. So, but is it replacement, SD-WAN replacement of MPLS? I'll say that is the additional layer rather than replacement of MPLS.
Sure, sir. The next question says, do you think SD-WAN will completely replace MPLS in the future?
So as I answered, the summary answer is no, because the additional layer on and above MPLS. I think the right question, or maybe that I'll not say right, but the alternate question that might be there on mind of few of the audience is that, will internet replace MPLS completely? Answer is partially maybe, but completely no. Because see, as I was saying, that internet was always there. Before MPLS, internet was there. We moved from internet to MPLS because of obvious reasons of better quality, better control, and better assurance on latency and so on and so forth. Internet will not replace, but if you are running multiple applications, if you are running 20 applications, and few of the application, like say, your web access, general web access is not a critical application, that you can think of moving from MPLS to internet, because traditional implementation was of central breakout. Like even if you have to go to internet, every connection will come on MPLS to central site. From central site, it will break to internet after passing through the firewall and the policy that you want to implement. Now with SD-WAN, you can have a local breakout. That way you save MPLS bandwidth and will get better experience, because now you can implement firewall at local site itself with the help of SD-WAN. So MPLS will not get completely replaced. Yes, few of the application will move from MPLS connection 1 from plus MPLS connection 2 to MPLS plus internet. That's the way that I see.
Sure. Mr. Ahuja, can you cite a few clients who have been benefited from SD-WAN services offered by Airtel?
See, probably because it is a public platform, I'll not like to, sort of name few clients, but, anybody can reach out to me or on the email address that we have given, and we'll be happy to take them through, all the use case, all the case studies on various customers that we have. In this webinar, I like to, sort of refrain from naming any particular OEM or customer, for the time being.
Sure, Mr. Ahuja. Thank you so much. I understand your concern there. Thank you so much for being with us here today for such an insightful session. I'm equally grateful for all the attendees for being with us here. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope it was helpful. Thank you everyone.